Okay, so I'm a retail player, and over the past few weeks I've been playing through WoW Classic for the first time, and well, it sure has been a lot of fun. I started playing from the minute WoW Classic Fresh launched on the 21st of November. Starting out as someone who has never touched the game before was somewhat intimidating, because everyone around me moved around like they had done it before, and they most definitely have. And to be honest, it was that feeling that drove me away from Classic in the past, and I really wasn't expecting it to make it past level 10, but little did I know the adventure I was going to go on over the next few weeks. In my mind, I had already experienced everything that Azeroth had to offer from playing retail, and it wouldn't be until I did my first dungeon in Classic that I realized that this is an entirely new journey inside of the world that I already loved. So many places that I hadn't explored because I had just flown right over top of them. In Classic, you really get this sense of community, right from finding people to run a dungeon with, to members of my guild helping me complete quests, to even you guys giving me gifts in-game. I think that now that we are reaching the halfway point in my journey to level 60, it's safe to say that Classic has grown on me. And well, I can only hope that the rest of my time here is just as enjoyable. In case you haven't watched any of my previous videos, then I would like to introduce you to my character, Fartin Sniff. You know me, I like to set little goals for myself in each video, and today we actually have two. First of all, get to level 40 so that I can unlock my first ever WoW Classic mount. And second is to get to level 42. Why level 42? Well, level 42 actually marks the halfway point. Well, at least in terms of XP anyway. Starting off the day, we were waiting outside of Scarlet Monastery, since last time we managed to unlock the ability Whirlwind, which is one of the best AoE abilities that Warrior has access to, and arguably one of the best in the entire game. So, we're going to put it to some use inside of a dungeon. And besides, I'm starting to get a little tired of just running around completing random quests, and Scarlet Armory would be one of the best ways for me to get some XP right now. Once everyone in my group was ready, we got stuck straight into it. Now, this dungeon isn't exactly an interesting one, since there is only one boss, which is wildly different to the retail version of this dungeon, as retail meshes all of these Scarlet Monastery dungeons into one big dungeon. With that being said, this dungeon is absolutely filled to the brim with elite mobs, which is what makes it so good for gaining XP. Right as you enter, you are greeted with a courtyard that has mobs inside and all around it. After that, we move into the hallways of the dungeon, which are once again absolutely filled with mobs, and that's not a complaint, by the way. Once we did eventually make it to the end of the spiraling hallways, we make it to the one boss of this dungeon, which is Herod. And is that? No way, a boss mechanic! Throughout the past few weeks, I haven't seen a single boss do any sort of mechanic until now, and it is a pretty simple one. He spins around and deals massive AoE damage, and all you have to do is back away from him. Now, the loot that dropped was the Herod Shoulders, which would actually be a massive upgrade for me, and to my surprise, I actually won it. Now, the thrill of getting a big upgrade is unmatched. Anyone who has ever played WoW Classic and even retail WoW knows that. So for the first time in my entire playthrough, I decided to look up the loot pool for this dungeon since I plan to run it quite a few times. And wow, I'm glad that I did. This dungeon only has 4 pieces of gear to get, which are the Herod Shoulders, Raging Berserker's Helm, Scarlet Leggings, and the daddy of them all, Ravager. every single one of these pieces of gear would be an insanely good upgrade for me, especially the weapon. Now, that kind of left me with two choices. A, I do the runs that I need to complete any quests and move on to exploring a new zone, or B, spam the dungeon over and over again until I eventually lose my sanity and collect every single piece of gear that I can from this dungeon. If you chose A, well done, you're a well-adjusted member of society and I'm proud of you. But no, I went with option B. And so began my plunge into insanity. Really? Again? Ooh, yes! Please! No! Dude! Robbed me. Okay, that's the third shoulders in 4 runs.
Nice.
Ooh, yes please. Okay. And that's number 4. Ooh, this is it. Yeah, this is it. Let's go, dude. That is big. That is big, big. 8.5 hours. I spent 8.5 hours in the same repetitive dungeon, and we hit level 40. Not a single pair of bloody pants though. I saw the Scarlet leggings that one single time and I was robbed of them and never to be seen again. But maybe that just means it wasn't meant to be, and Fart and Sniff would have to continue wearing the same pair of pants that he's been wearing since level 22. But that also means that I can now purchase my first ever WoW classic mount. And well, you might take a glance at my wallet and call me poor, and you'd be right. So I contacted a friend, and we arranged to meet in Menethil Harbour.
Hello.
What an absolute legend. Sin, I can't thank you enough, man. Bro killed Cyclonian for me and buys me my first mount. If you've made it this far into the video, head into the comments and let Sin know that he is an absolute legend. So, we have our horse, but obviously, we still need to learn how to ride him, so off to the logging camp for some reason. Now, obviously, the horse needs a name, and well, I asked the guild a little, and a few people said that I should name him after the drink Bailey's, but Bailey's tastes disgusting, so I decided to call him after my favourite drink. I would like to introduce you to Fart and Sniff's horse, Smirnoff Blue Label Vodka 1 litre. So we are now level 40, and we have our first mount. So what now? Well, I am most definitely never going back to Scarlet Monastery, because if I have to run it one more time, I think I might develop some kind of brain defect. However, there is another dungeon available to me now, and that is Razorfen Downs. A much more engaging dungeon, to say the least, and this dungeon would actually give me the chance to get my first pieces of plate gear. The Carapace of Tutankhamun and the Ice Metal Barboot. First up on the list of bosses for this dungeon is Tutankhamun, the boss that holds my oh so dear chest piece, which I didn't get this time around. Secondly, we head over to the massive bone pile to take on the skeleton boss Mordresh the Fire Eye. And he doesn't have any loot that we are interested in, but he did end up dropping a neck piece. Thirdly, we head over to take out Glutton, and same as the last boss, he doesn't drop anything that we are particularly interested in. And lastly, of course, is Animar. And luckily, he did in fact drop the helmet we are after, but yeah, we didn't get that one either. But you know what? It was a fun dungeon, and I decided that I would also obsess over this piece of gear. And it only took around 4 attempts. And now I can officially say that we are halfway to level 60. I hope you all enjoyed today's video because I enjoyed making it. I always do. And remember, I am still learning when it comes to making YouTube videos, so if there's anything that you guys think that I could personally improve on, either in the editing, in the recording, whatever it may be, I'm always trying to improve. I always try to improve on one thing every single video, even though you might not notice it, but, you know, I definitely do. Anyway, enough yapping. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all later.